Hi there, I'm Coach Kenneth, and in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about when your ex says the unthinkable. You know, one of the most devastating things your ex can tell you is that they don't love you anymore. They don't see a future with you. They can't do it anymore. They want to end it. It is such a gut-wrenching feeling that I think we can all share that experience of how it feels. Totally takes over your world, and it feels like your world is ending at that point. You just feel so lost, so scared, so anxious and confused, and you can't even believe it. You're like, how could you not love me anymore after everything that we've been through, all the things that we said we wanted, the future that we had together, the relationship that we have? It's like you just can't even believe that they would say that to you. And you know, sometimes it's because we were neglectful in the relationship, or we were doing unattractive things, we weren't meeting their needs, or sometimes it is because they have attachment issues and they can't do closeness and they don't like responsibilities and obligations and commitments and they want to run away. Sometimes it's a combination of those things. So assessing that can be so scary and so confusing. And I understand. I've been there. I know how painful it is, and hearing that somebody that you love doesn't love you anymore is just jolting and one of the most painful things you could hear. But a lot of times, a relationship can be fixed. A breakup can be fixed. Now, you'll hear ignorant people say, a breakup is a breakup for a reason. Okay, that's like nonsense. Like where is there? And we have a video on that. You can go look and see us talking in depth about that. What does that even mean? People break up for so many different reasons, but not necessarily because one person is toxic or the other. Sometimes it's as simple as, I want to have 3 kids and you don't want any kids. That can cause a breakup. There are a lot of different reasons people can break up. And sometimes breakups can bring us back together. One of my good friends, he and his wife broke up, and then they wound up getting back together, I think a couple years later, and they've been happily married since then, and it's probably been over 30 years. So people can break up and get back together, especially if you act like an adult, take accountability for yourself, look at what you have to do differently, and especially when both people are willing to do that. A lot of times, having that space allows somebody to feel the loss, and they can really put things in perspective. But what if you try to manipulate or beg, plead, handwritten letters, all those things, it just pushes them away further, okay? So I've got an email coaching today from a couple that's in their mid-20s, and they were together for about 2.5 years. They lived together the majority of that time, and this woman, his ex, actually helped him raise his daughter from infancy. So, you know, she must have a special bond with his daughter as well. Our relationship didn't have many problems aside from sex, as she has a lot of childhood trauma related to that. Okay, so she probably has some real abuse history, things that happen to her that are horrible, and they trigger her when she tries to be intimate. I don't know. He didn't go into detail. She also has trauma from her dad abandoning her as a child. I think she's a fearful avoidant. We broke up a day after we got engaged. Imagine that. Imagine that you go from thinking you are going to spend the rest of your life with somebody to them ending it and telling you they don't love you anymore. Talk about a shock. Talk about the unthinkable. Somebody says, yes, I do love you. I want to spend my life with you. And then they break up with you. Why? Well, a lot of times with someone with an attachment issue, they really get scared. And so we see a lot of breakups like this. When she agreed to marry me, she was the happiest I'd ever seen her. We had talked about getting engaged a month before, and she was all in on the idea. The next day, she came home from work saying she didn't think she could do it, as she didn't think she was in love with me anymore. Well, she got scared It felt like pressure, and it made her feel more anxious than feeling attracted and in love. She also said our religions are different, which was never a problem in the past, and was concerned that I wouldn't want to bring our kids to church. But she barely goes to church herself. Okay, so this is an excuse. Now, some of you are going to be like, no, it's not. It was important to her. No. Okay, here's the way it works, guys. In the relationship, she didn't care. She doesn't go to church herself. But she's got to give him a reason, right? She's ending this. He's devastated. She knows it. She just accepted a proposal for marriage. So she's got to give him a reason, and she's going to come up with something so she doesn't look so awful. But do I think it's really about this? No, maybe like 2%. But it's really more about her. And a fearful avoidant isn't going to likely be able to express that to him. I said we could take them as often as she wanted. I have since done research and have genuinely converted to Christianity. Okay, you didn't need to do that because that's not why this was the breakup. I understand why you think it. She gave it to you as a reason, but I'm telling you, that's not really the reason. And if she was feeling that strong attraction and chemistry again, you wouldn't hear another word about it. Or you might hear very, very, very little. But that's not the reason. She slowly tried to give the ring back, but I told her to keep it. She kissed me twice and held me. The next day, we talked. I was grabbing some of my things. I gave her the dreaded handwritten letter. It wasn't to convince her to come back, but to thank her for everything she did for me and my daughter. She hugged me and kissed me on the cheek and I kissed her on the forehead. I'm having flashbacks. We figured out logistics for when to get my things, and she said she didn't think that she could watch. She offered to buy my couch and table from me, and I said just keep them because they suited the house and I had nowhere to put them anyway. 2 weeks went by and she reached out to me saying, give your daughter a hug for me. I hope you guys are having fun at your dad's house. Yeah, we're having a blast. I'm devastated every day, and we're having a wonderful time. I can't get off the toilet. I replied saying that I would and hope she had a good weekend, or is having a good weekend. A day later, I made a post on Facebook of me and my daughter, and she hearted it within 5 minutes. The next day, she texted me asking if she could ever see her again, even just to say goodbye. Boy, I'm going to have flashbacks to that too. I had to say goodbye to the Applebee's girl daughter, and that was really tough because she was about 3 years old at the time. I didn't respond for a couple of days because I was internally freaking out. She texted me 2 days later saying that she meant something to my daughter, and I know it. I agreed. She followed up asking why I was cutting her out of her life. What? This was your choice. This is what happens at a breakup. What? This is going to be so confusing. Believe me, I get it. But, you have this little girl, she's 3 years old, and now she's hardly going to see her, and she's going to be confused asking about you all the time, asking about the woman all the time. I know, I lived that. The Applebee's girl daughter was asking about me for a long time. And, she admitted it to me, and it was really tough for me and her daughter because we were very attached. And, if she's in your life, it's going to be so hard for your daughter to understand that it's a completely different dynamic and she's hardly going to see her anymore. And not only that, how awful are you going to feel if she starts dating another guy? You were going to marry this woman, and now you have to let her come visit your daughter when she's chosen to be with someone else? I don't think so. No way. She said thank you and apologized for things changing and said, I'm the best dad whether we're together or not. I left it there because I didn't know what else to say. She's been watching my stories through all of this and after our conversation. I've heard nothing for a week, and I'm wondering what I should do next. Any and all advice on the situation would be appreciated. I'm at a loss and don't want to lose her. Well, she needs to have that mindset with you. She needs to realize that she's going to lose you. And if you allow her to keep seeing your daughter, she's not going to feel that loss. She's going to think that she can stay in your life and keeping you as a friend. And you'll be miserable trying to see her and let your daughter see her when you know she might be talking to other guys or dating other people. So there's no way in the world I would do that to myself. I'm going to say, look, I'm sorry. If this is what you want, then contact me if you change your mind. I have to keep moving forward, and we're going to have to move on from this if this is what you're wanting. And I wouldn't reach out to her again because I think she got scared about the pressure of being married and doing a forever relationship, and that's why she ran away. And when she felt overwhelmed, I think it made her feelings of, being in love with you go away because they're overwhelmed by the other feelings of fear and commitment and obligations. So if you give her time and space, I think she's going to come back. But I think you're going to have to set a strong boundary with her and let her know, look, it's not that I don't love you or don't want to see you or that you see me and my daughter, but if we can't continue as friends. So if you want to repair it, then you can let me know and we can take things slow, but I can't allow you to keep seeing her as it's just going to drag this out for both of us, meaning him and her. I think she's going to come back. I think it's going to be quite a few months of running away, being scared, and feeling overwhelmed. But I think at some point she's going to be like, what am I doing? Now, you need to be careful here because if she gets this scared to do this once, she could do it again. And she is in her mid-20s, and she's probably an avoidant, and it could scare her to be in a lifetime commitment. So you don't want to rush to get her back. If you rush to get her back, she's likely going to get freaked out and scared again. So you want to make her kind of work to get you back here. Don't be eager. Don't be easy. And, you're not, by letting her know you're not interested in friendship, you're not being eager or easy, you're setting a boundary and saying, we can either work at this or I have to move forward. But I'm not going to let her keep seeing the daughter. If she wants to say goodbye, that would be totally fine and understandable, especially if you think she's a responsible adult, which in this case, it sounds like she's been raising this little girl since she was an infant. And she needs to feel that loss. I'm going to lose him and I'm going to lose this little girl. Is this really what I want? I think probably it's not what she wants, but I think she's going to need some time to get there. And in the meantime, you need to learn about avoidant attachment style and dealing with a partner like this, because if you don't know how to deal with her, you could come on too strong, pressure her, and wind up in future breakups. Now, of course, not all that responsibility is on you, but if you want to be with somebody like this, you might as well do what you can to educate yourself to make life a lot easier. All right. Hopefully you found this one helpful. If you want to get my help personally, you can do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Zoom calls. You can get my creative healing course and my workbooks only on my website. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and I will talk with you soon.